Welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of season 2 of Sip Read Repeat. We are picking up once again with Children of Blood and Bone. Last time we were here, we read through chapter 1. And we kind of got a glimpse into the world that Zele and all of her other fellow diviners are living in. We see that they are treated like they are lesser than simply because they have their white hair and potentially have the ability to learn magic. But the very last thing we read was her brother running in to meet her and tell her something was wrong with her father. So we are picking up with chapter 2. And today I got the young chalice. I got a drink in here called Popwell. It's a prebiotic or a probiotic, one of the biotic sodas that is something like Olipop. This one's a tropical mango flavor. It's pretty valid. It's pretty valid. All right, here we go. Chapter 2, Zeli. The last words I ever wanted to hear. It's Baba means it's over. It's Baba means he's hurt, or worse. No, I stop my thoughts as we sprint across the wooden planks of the merchant quarter. He's okay. I promise myself. Whatever it is, he's going to live. Elorin rises with the sun, bringing our ocean village to life. Waves crash against the wooden pillars that keep our settlement afloat, coating our feet with mist. Like a spider caught in the web of the sea, our village sits on 8 legs of lumber, all connected in the center. It's that center we run to now, that center that brings us closer to Baba. Watch it, a Kosadan woman yells as I sprint past, almost knocking a basket of plantain off her back, off her black hair. Maybe if she realized my world is falling apart, she'd find the heart to forgive. What happened? I pant. I don't know, Zane rushes out. Ndulu came to Agbon practice, said Baba was in trouble. I was headed home, but Yemi told me you had a problem with the guards? Oh gods, what if it's the one with Mama Agba's hut? Fear creeps onto my consciousness as we zip through the tradeswomen and craftsmen crowding the wooden walkway. The guard who attacked me could have gone after Baba, and soon he'll go after Zeli. Zane shouts with the edge that indicates this isn't his first attempt to grab my attention. Why'd you leave him? It was your turn to stay. Today was the graduation match. If I missed it, damn it, Zell. Zane's voice roars. Zane's roar makes the other villagers turn. And I hope I'm not saying his name wrong. It's Tzain. So I want to assume that it's Zane, like not Zane, but Zane, but I don't know for sure. Are you serious? You left Baba for your stupid stick? It's not a stick. It's a weapon. I shoot back. And I didn't abandon him. Baba overslept. He needed to rest. And I've stayed every day this week because I stayed every day last week. Zane leaps over a crawling child, muscles rippling when he lands. A Kosadan girl smiles as he runs past, hoping a flirtatious wave will break his stride. Even now, villagers gravitate to Zane like magnets finding their way home. I have no need to push others out of my way. One look at my white hair, and people avoid me like I'm an infectious plague. The Orishan Games are only 2 moons away, Zane continues. You know what winning that kind of coin could do for us? When I practice, you have to stay with Baba. What part of that's so hard to understand? Damn it! Zane skids to a stop before the floating market in the center of Aloran. Surrounded by a rectangular walkway, the stretch of open sea swells, with villagers haggling inside their round coconut boats. Before the daily trades begin, we can run across the night bridge to our home in the fisherman's sector, but the markets opened early, and the bridge is nowhere to be seen. We'll have to go the long way. Ever the athlete, Zane takes off, sprinting down the walkway surrounding the market to make it back to Baba. I begin to follow him, but pause when I see the coconut boats. Merchants and fishermen barter, trading fresh fruit for the best of that day's catch. When times are good, the trades are kind. Everyone accepts a little less to give others a little more. But today, everyone bickers, demanding bronze and silver over promises and fish. The taxes. The wretched face of the guard fills my mind as the ghost of his grip burns my thigh. The memory of his glare propels me. I leap into the first boat. Zeli, watch out! Kana cries, cradling her precious fruit. Our village gardener adjusts her head wrap and scowls as I hop onto a wooden barge teeming with blue moonfish. Sorry! I yell apology after apology, leaping from boat to boat like a red-nosed frogger. As soon as I land on the deck of the fisherman's sector, I'm off, relishing the sensation of my feet pounding against the wooden planks. Though Zane's trails behind me, I keep going. I need to reach Baba first. If it's bad, Zane will need warning. If Baba's dead? The thought turns my legs to lead. He can't be dead. It's dawn. We need to load our boat and sail out to sea. By the time we lay out our nets, the prime catch will have passed. Who'll scold me for that if Baba's gone? I picture the way he was before I left, passed out in the emptiness of our here. Even asleep, he looked worn, like the longest slumber couldn't grant him rest. I had hoped he wouldn't wake until I returned, but I should have known better. In stillness, he still has to deal with his pain, his regrets, and me and my stupid mistakes. The crowd gathered outside my here makes me stumble to a halt. People block my view of the ocean, pointing and shouting at something I can't see. Before I can push my way in, Zane barrels through the crowd. As the path clears, my heart stops. Almost half a kilometer out at sea, a man flails, his dark hands thrashing in desperation. Powerful waves ram against the poor soul's head, drowning him with each impact. The man cries out for help, voice choked and weak, but it's a voice I'd know anywhere. The voice of my father. Two fishermen row toward him, frantic as they paddle in their coconut boats, but the force of the waves pushes them back. They'll never reach him in time. No! I cry in horror as the current pulls Baba below the water. Though I wait for him to surface, nothing breaks through the vengeful waves. We're too late. Baba's gone. It hits me like a staff to the chest, to the head, to the heart. In an instant, the air vanishes from my world, and I forget how to breathe. But while I struggle to stand, Zane launches into action. I scream as he dives into the water, cutting through the waves with the power of a dual-finned shark. Zane swims with a frenzy I've never seen. Within moments, he overtakes the boats. Seconds later, he reaches the area where Baba went under and dives down. Come on. My chest tightens so much, I swear I feel my ribs crack. But when Zane reemerges, his hands are empty. No body. No Baba. Panting, Zane dives again, kicking harder this time. The seconds without him stretch into an eternity. Oh my gods. I could lose them both. Come on, I whisper again as I stare at the waves where Zane and Baba have disappeared. Come back. I've whispered these words before. As a kid, I once watched Baba haul Zane from the depths of a lake, ripping him from the seaweed that had trapped him underwater. He pumped on his fragile chest, but when Baba failed to make him breathe, it was Mama and her magic who saved him. She risked everything, violating Magi law to call on the forbidden powers in her blood. She wove her incantations into Zane like a thread, pulling him back to life with the magic of the dead. I wish Mama was alive every day, but never more than this moment. I wish the magic that coursed through her body ran through mine. I wish I could keep Zane and Baba alive. Please. Despite everything I believe, I close my eyes and pray, just like I did that day. If even one God is still up there, I need her to hear me now. Please. Tears leak through my lashes. Hope shrivels inside my chest. Bring them back. Please. Oya. Don't take them too. Ugh! My eyes snap open as Zane bursts out of the ocean, one arm around Baba's chest. A liter of water seems to escape Baba's throat as he coughs, but he's here. He's alive. I fall to my knees, nearly collapsing on the wooden walkway. My gods, it's not even midday, and I've already risked 2 lives. 6 minutes. That's how long Baba thrashed out at sea. How long he fought against the current. How long his lungs ached for air. As we sit in the silence of our empty air here, I can't get that number out of my head. The way Baba shivers, I'm convinced those 6 minutes took 10 years off his life. This shouldn't have happened. It's too early to have ruined the entire day. I should be outside cleaning the morning's hall with Baba. Zane should be returning from Agbon practice to help. Instead, Zane watches Baba, arms crossed, too enraged to throw a glance my way. Right now, my only friend is Nala, the faithful lionaire I've raised since she was a wounded cub. No longer a baby, my rider towers over me, reaching Zane's neck on all fours. Two jagged horns protrude behind her ears, dangerously close to puncturing our reed walls. I reach up and Nala instinctively brings her giant head down, careful to maneuver the fangs curved over her jaw. She purrs as I scratch her snout. At least someone's not angry with me. What happened, Baba? Zane's gruff voice cuts through the silence. We wait for an answer, but Baba's expression stays blank. He gazes at the floor with an emptiness that makes my heart ache. Baba. Zane bends down to meet his eyes. Do you remember what happened? Baba pulls his blanket tighter. I had to fish. But you're not supposed to go alone, I exclaim. Baba winces and Zane glares at me, forcing me to soften my tone. Your blackouts are only getting worse. I try again. Why couldn't you just wait for me to come home? I didn't have time. Baba shakes his head. The guards came, said I had to pay. What? Zane's brows knit together. Why? I paid them last week. It's a diviner tax. I grip the draped fabric of my pants, still haunted by the guard's touch. They came from Mama Agba, too, probably hitting every diviner home in Aloran. Zane presses his fist to his forehead as if he could smash through his own skull. He wants to believe that playing by the monarchy's rules will keep us safe, but nothing can protect us when those rules are rooted in hate. Let me read the part one more time. Nothing can protect us when those rules are rooted in hate. The same guilt from earlier resurfaces, squeezing until it sinks into my chest. If I wasn't a diviner, they wouldn't suffer. If Mama hadn't been a Magi, she'd still be alive today. I dig my fingers through my hair, accidentally ripping a few strands from my scalp. Part of me considers cutting all of it off, but even without my white hair, my Magi heritage would damn our family all the same. We are the people who fill the king's prisons, the people our kingdom turns into laborers, the people Orishans try to chase out of their features, outlawing our lineage as if white hair and dead magic were a societal stain. Mama used to say that in the beginning, white hair was a sign of the powers of heaven and earth. It held beauty and virtue and love. It meant we were blessed by the gods above. But when everything changed, magic became a thing to loathe. Our heritage transformed into a thing to hate. It's a cruelty I've had to accept. But whenever I see that pain inflicted on Zane or Baba, it cuts to new depths. Baba's still coughing up salt water, and already we're forced to think about making ends meet. What about the sailfish? Zane asks. We can pay them with that. I walk to the back of the hut and open our small iron icebox. In a bath of chilled seawater lies the red-tailed sailfish we wrangled yesterday, its glistening scales promising a delicious treat. A rare find in the Wari Sea. It's much too valuable for us to eat, but if the guards would take it, they refuse to be paid in fish, Baba grumbles. I needed bronze, silver. He massages his temple like he can make the whole world disappear. They told me to get the coin or they face Zelian to the stocks. My blood runs cold. I whip around, unable to hide my fear. Run by the king's army, the stocks act as our kingdom's labor force, spreading throughout all of Orisha. Whenever someone can't afford the taxes, he's required to work off the debt for our king. Those stuck in the stocks toil endlessly, erecting palaces, building roads, mining coal, and everything in between. It's a system that served Orishi well once, but since the raid, it's no more than a state-sanctioned death sentence. An excuse to round up my people, as if the monarchy ever needed one. With all the diviners left orphaned from the raid, we were the ones who can't afford the monarchy's high taxes. We are the true targets of every tax raise. Damn it. I fight to keep my terror inside. If I'm forced into the stocks, I'll never get out. No one who enters escapes. The labor is only supposed to last until the original debt is worked off. But when the taxes keep rising, so does the debt. Starved, beaten, and worse, the diviners are transported like cattle, forced to work until our bodies break. I push my hands into the chilled seawater to calm my nerves. I can't let Baba and Zane know how frightened I truly am. It'll only make it worse for all of us. But as my fingers start to shake, I don't know if it's from the cold or my terror. How is this happening? When did things get this bad? No, I whisper to myself. Wrong question. I shouldn't be asking when things got this bad. I should ask why I ever thought things had gotten better. I looked to the single black calla lily woven into the netted window of our hut. The only living connection to Mama I have left. When we lived in Edabon, she would place calla lilies in the window of our old home to honor her mother, a tribute Maggie paid to their dead. Usually, when I look at the flower, I remember the wide smile that came to Mama's lips when she would inhale its cinnamon scent. Today, all I see in its wilted leaves is the black magicite chain that took the place of the gold amulet she always wore around her neck. Though the memory is 11 years old, it's clearer to me now than my own vision. That was the night things got bad. The night King Sauron hung my people for the world to see, declaring war against the Magi of today and tomorrow. The night magic died. The night we lost everything. Baba shudders and I run to his side, placing a hand on his back to keep him upright. His eyes hold no anger, only defeat. As he clings to the worn blanket, I wish I could see the warrior I knew when I was a child. Before the raid, he could fight off 3 armed men with nothing but a skinning knife in hand. But after the beating he got that night, it took him 5 moons before he could even talk. Damn. They broke him that night, battered his heart and shattered his soul. Maybe he would have recovered if he hadn't woken to find Mama's corpse bound in black chains. But he did. He's never been the same since that night. All right, Zane sighs, always searching for an ember in the ashes. Let's get out on the boat. If we leave now, won't work, I interrupt. You saw the market. Everyone's scrambling to meet the tax. Even if we could bring in fish, whatever spare coin people have is gone. And we don't have a boat, Baba mutters. I lost it this morning. What? I didn't realize that the boat wasn't outside. I turned to Zane, ready to hear his new plan, but he slumps to the reed floor. I'm done. I press into the wall and close my eyes. No boat, no coin, no way to avoid the stocks. A heavy silence descends in the ear, cementing my sentence. Maybe I'll be assigned to the palace. Waiting on spoiled nobles would be preferable to coughing up coal dust in the mines of Calibrar or the other nefarious channels stalkers can force diviners into. From what I've heard, the underground brothels aren't even close to the worst of what the stalkers might make me do. Zane shifts in the corner. I know him. He's going to offer to take my place. But as I prepare to protest, the thought of the royal palace sparks an idea. What about Lagos? I ask. Running away won't work. Not to run, I shake my head. The market's filled with nobles. I can trade the sailfish there. Before either can comment on my genius, I grab parchment paper and run over to the sailfish. I'll come back with 3 moons worth of taxes and coin for a new boat. And Zane can focus on his Agbon matches. Baba can finally get some rest. I can help. I smile to myself. I can finally do something right. You can't go. Baba's weary voice cuts into my thoughts. It's too dangerous for a diviner. More dangerous than the stocks, I ask? Because if I don't do this, that's where I'm headed. I'll go to Lagos, Zane argues. No, you won't. I tuck the wrapped sailfish into my pack. You can barely barter. You'll blow the entire trade. I may get less coin, but I can protect myself. So can I. I wave Mama Agba's staff before tossing it into my pack. Baba, please. Zane shoos me away. If Zell goes, she'll do something stupid. If I go, I'll come back with more coin than we've ever seen. Baba's brow creases as he deliberates. Zayli should make the trade. Thank you. But Zane, keep her in line. No, Zane crosses his arms. You need one of us here in case the guards come back. Take me to Mama Agba's, Baba says. I'll hide there until you return. But Baba, if you don't leave now, you won't be back by nightfall. Zane closes his eyes, stifling his frustration. He starts loading Nyla's saddle onto her massive back as I help Baba to his feet. I'm trusting you. Baba mutters, too quiet for Zane to hear. I know. I tie the worn blanket around his thin frame. I won't mess up again. Chapter 3. Amari. So this is a brand new character. Okay. Amari, sit up straight. For Sky's sake. That's more than enough dessert for you. I lower my forkful of coconut pie and push my shoulders back, almost impressed by the number of critiques Mother can hiss under her breath in 1 minute. She sits at the top of the brass table with a golden gel wrapped snug around her head. It seems to catch all the light in the room as it shimmers against her soft copper complexion. I adjust the navel gauge on my own head and try to appear regal, wishing the servant hadn't wrapped it so tight. As I squirm, Mother's amber eyes scan the Aloys, dressed in their finest, searching for the hyenas hiding in the flock. Our female nobility paste on smiles, though I know they whisper about us behind our back. I heard she's been pushed to western quarters. She's far too dark to be the king's. My servants swear the commander's cart carrying Sauron's child. Oh, okay. They wear their secrets like glittering diamonds, embroidery woven through their lavish bubba tops and wrapped Iro skirts. Their lies and lily-scented perfumes taint the honeyed aroma of sweet cakes I am no longer allowed to eat. And what is your opinion, Princess Amari? I snap my head up from the heavenly slice of pie to find Olei Ronki studying me expectantly. Her emerald iris sparkles bright along her mahogany skin, chosen precisely for the way it shines against the white stucco of the tea room walls. I beg your pardon? On a visit to Zarya. She leans forward until the fat ruby hanging from her throat grazes the table. The garish jewel serves as a constant reminder that Olei Ronko wasn't born with a seat at our table. She bought her way in. We would be honored to have you stay at our manor. She fingers the large red gem, lips curving as she catches me staring. I'm sure we could find find a jewel like this for you as well. How kind of you. I stall, tracing the path from Lagos to Zarya in my mind. Far past the Alasimbo range, Zarya sits on the northern end of Orishi, kissing the Atunji Sea. My pulse quickens as I imagine visiting the world beyond the palace walls. Thank you, I finally speak. I would be honored, but unfortunately Amari cannot. Mother cuts in, frowning without the slightest hint of sadness. She is in the thick of her studies, and she's already fallen behind the arithmetic. It would be far too disruptive to stop now. The excitement growing in my chest deflates. I poke at the uneaten pie on my plate. Mother rarely allows me to leave the palace. I should have known better than to hope. Perhaps in the future, I say quietly, praying the small indulgence will not incite Mother's wrath. You must love living there, having the sea at your feet and the mountains at your back. It's just rocks and water. Samara, Ole Ronki's eldest daughter, wrinkles her wide set nose. Nothing compared to this magnificent palace. She flashes a smile at Mother, but her sweetness disappears when she turns back to me. Besides, Zarya is overrun with diviners. At least the maggots in Lagos know how to stick to their slums. I tense at the cruelty of Samara's words. They seem to hang above us in the air. I glance over my shoulder to see if Binta heard as well, but my oldest friend does not appear to be here. As the only diviner working in the upper palace, my chambermaid has always stood out, a living shadow forever by my side. Even with the bonnet Binta secures over her white hair, she's still isolated from the rest of the serving staff. May I assist you, princess? I turn over my other shoulder to see a servant I don't recognize, a girl with chestnut skin and large round eyes. She takes my half-empty cup and replaces it with another. I glance at the amber tea. If Binta were here, she would have snuck a spoonful of sugar into my cup when Mother wasn't looking. Have you seen Binta? The girl draws back suddenly, her lips pressed together. What is it? The girl opens her mouth, but her eyes dart around the women at the table. Binta was summoned to the throne room, Your Highness, a few moments before the luncheon began. I frown and tilt my head. What could father possibly want with Binta? Of all the servants in the palace, he never summons her. He rarely summons servants at all. Did she say why? I ask. The girl shakes her head and lowers her voice, choosing each word with care. No, The guards escorted her there. A sour taste crawls into my tongue, bitter and dark as it travels down my throat. The guards in this palace do not escort, they take, they demand. The girls look desperate to say more, but Mother shoots her a glare. Mother's cold grip pinches my knee under the table. Stop talking to the help. I snap around and look down, hiding from Mother's gaze. She narrows her eyes like a red-breasted firehawk on the hunt, just waiting for me to embarrass her again. But despite her frustration, I cannot get the thought of Binta out of my head. Father knows of our closeness. If he requires something from her, why wouldn't he go through me instead? I stare out of the paneled windows at the royal gardens of my as my questions grow, ignoring the empty laughter of the Eloise around me. With a lurch, the palace doors fly open. My brother strides in. Enon stands tall, handsome, in his uniform as he prepares to lead his first patrol through Lagos. He beams among his fellow guards, his decorated helmet reflecting his recent promotion to captain. Despite myself, I smile, wishing I could be part of his special day. Everything he ever wanted. It's all finally happening for him. Impressive, is he not? Samara fixes her light brown eyes on my brother with a frightening lust. Youngest captain in history, he will make an excellent king. He will. Mother glows, leaning in closer to the daughter she cannot wait to have. Though I do wish the promotion was not accompanied by such violence. You never know what a desperate maggot might try with their crown prince. The Eloise nod and dispense useless opinions as I sip my tea in silence. They speak of our subjects with such levity, as if they were discussing the diamond-stitched galleys sweeping Lagos's fashion. I turn back to the servant who told me about Benta. Though she is far away from my table, a nervous tremble still rocks her hand. Samara, Mother's voice breaks into my thoughts, pulling my focus back. Have I mentioned how regal you look today? I bite my tongue and drain the rest of my tea. Though Mother says regal, the word lighter hides behind her lips. Like the regal Eloise, who can proudly trace their lineage back to the royal families who first wore Oroshi's crown. Not common, like the farmers who toil the fields of Mina, or Lagos's own merchants bartering their wares in the sun. Not unfortunate like me, the princess mother is almost too ashamed to claim. As I peek at Samara from behind my cup, I'm struck by her now. I'm struck by her new, soft brown complexion. It was only a few lunches ago she shared her mother's mahogany coloring. You are too kind, Your Majesty. Samara looks down at her dress in false modesty, smoothing non-existent wrinkles. You must share your beauty regimen with Amari. Mother places a cold hand on my shoulder, fingers light against my dark copper skin. She lounges in the garden so often she's beginning like a farmhand. Mother laughs, as if a horde of servants don't cover me with sunshades whenever I step outside. Like she didn't coat me with powder before this very luncheon began, cursing the way my complexion makes the nobility gossip that she slept with a servant. That is not necessary, Mother, I cringe, remembering the sharp pain and the vinegar stench of her last cosmetic concoction. Oh, it would be my pleasure, Samara beams. Yes, but Amari. Mother cuts me off with a smile so tight it could split her skin. She would love to, Samara, especially before courting begins. I try to swallow the lump in my throat, but the very act almost makes me choke. In that moment, the smell of vinegar becomes so strong I can already feel the searing on my skin. Do not worry, Samara grips my hand in her own, misreading my distress. You will grow to love courting. It really is quite fun. I force a smile and try to pull my hand away, but Samara tightens her hand, as if I am not allowed to let go. Her gold rings press into my skin, each band set with a special stone. One ring feeds into a delicate chain, connecting to a bangle adorned with our monarchy seal, a diamond-studded snow lepanier. Samara wears the bangle with pride, no doubt a gift from Mother. In spite of myself, I admire its beauty. It has even more diamonds than my skies. Not mine. Not anymore. Panic floods as if I remember what happened to my own bangle, the one I gave to Binta. She did not want to take it. She feared the price of a gift from the throne. But father raised the diviner taxes. If she didn't sell my bangle, she and her family would have lost their home. They must have found out, I realize. They must think Binta is a thief. That's why she's been summoned to the throne room. That's why she needed to be escorted. I jump out of my seat. The legs of my chair screech against the tile floor. I can already see the guards holding out Binta's delicate hands. I could see father swinging down his sword. Pardon me, I say as I step back. Amari, sit down. Mother, Amari. Mother, please! Too loud. I know at the instant the words leave my mouth. My shrill voice bounces along the tea room's walls, quieting all conversation. My apologies, I sputter. I feel ill. With all eyes burning into my back, I scurry toward the door. I can feel the heat of mother's coming wrath, but I do not have time for that now. The moment the door shuts, I take off, hiking up my heavy gown. My heeled slippers clack against the tile floors as I sprint through the halls. How could I be so selfish or so foolish? I chastised myself, swerving to avoid a servant. I should have left the moment that girl told me of Binta's summoning. If the roles were reversed, Binta would not have wasted a heartbeat. Oh, skies, I curse, pushing myself past the slender vases of red impala lilies in the foyer, past the portraits of my royal ancestors glaring at me from generations past. Please be okay. I hold on to silent hope as I round the corner into the main hall. The air is thick with heat, making it even harder to breathe. My heart beats in my throat as I slow before Father's throne room, the room I fear most, the first place where he ordered Enon and me to spar, the home of so many scars. I grip the velvet curtains hanging outside the black oak doors, my sweat-covered hands soak into the rich fabric. He may not listen. I gave up the bangle. Father could punish me and Binta's steed. A pulse of fear travels down my spine, numbing my fingers. Do this for Binta. For Binta, I whisper out loud. My oldest friend. My only friend. I have to keep her safe. I take a deep breath and wipe the sweat from my hands, savoring my last few seconds. My fingers barely graze the handle glistening behind the curtains when... What? Father's voice booms through the closed doors like the roar of a wild gorilla lion. My heart pounds against my chest. I have heard Father yell before, but never like this. Am I too late? The door swings open and I jump back as a stream of guards and fanners sprint from the throne room like thieves on the run. They grab the remaining nobles and servants milling around the main hall and pull them away, leaving me all alone. Go. My legs throb as the door starts to close. Father's mood has already soured, but I have to find Binta. For all I know, she could be trapped inside. I can't let her face Father alone. I lunge forward, catching the door just before it slips shut. I wedge my fingers into the frame and pull the door open a crack, peering through the slit. What do you mean? Father shouts again, spittle flying onto his beard. Veins pulse under his mahogany skin, stark against the red agbada he wears. I pull the door open a hair wider, fearing I'll catch sight of Binta's slender frame. But instead, I see Admiral Abeli cowering before the throne. Beads of sweat gather on his bald head as he stares at everything except my father. Beside him, Commander Kaya stands tall, her hair falling down her neck in a tight, glossy braid. The artifacts washed ashore in Wari, a small village off the coast of the sea, Kaya explains. Their proximity activated latent abilities in a few of the local diviners. Latent abilities? Kaya swallows, her muscles tense against her light brown skin. She gives Admiral Abeli a chance to talk, but the Admiral stays silent. The diviners transform, Kaya winces, as if the words cause her physical pain. The artifacts awaken their powers, Your Highness. The diviners became Magi. I gasp, but quickly cover my mouth to stifle the sound. Magi? And Orishi? After all this time? A dull spike of fear travels up my chest, making each breath tight as I open the door a hair wider to get a better view. That cannot be, I wait for my father to say. That would be impossible, he finally says, voice barely above a whisper. He grips the pommel of his black magicite blade so hard his knuckles crack. I'm afraid not, your highness. I saw it with my own eyes. Their magic was weak, but it was there. Skies. What does that mean for us? What shall happen to the monarchy? Are the Magi already planning an attack? Will we have any chance of fighting back? Memories of father before the raid play in my head. A paranoid man with grinding teeth and forever graying hair. The man who ordered Enon and me into the palace cellar, placing swords in our hands, though we were far too young and weak to lift them. The Magi will come for you, he warned. The same words every time he forced us to spar. When they do, you must be prepared. The memory of pain stabs my back as I study my father's blanched face. His silence is more intimidating than his rage. Admiral Belly all but trembles. Where are the Magi now? Disposed of. My stomach clenches and I hold my breath, forcing the lunch's tea back down. Those Magi are dead, slaughtered, tossed to the bottom of the sea. In the artifacts, Father presses, unfazed by the Magi deaths. If he had his way, he probably disposed the rest of them. I have the scroll. Kaya reaches into her breastplate and pulls out a weathered parchment. Once I discovered it, I took care of the witnesses and came straight here. What of the sunstone? Kaya shoots Abele a gaze so sharp it could draw blood. He clears his throat deeply, as if stretching out every last second before he delivers the news. The stone was stolen from Wari before we arrived, Your Highness, but we are tracking it. We have our best men on its path. I have no doubt we will recover it soon. Father's rage simmers like heat before rising through the air. You were tasked to destroy them, he hisses. How did this happen? I tried, Your Highness. After the raid, I tried for moons and did everything I could to destroy them, but the artifacts were hexed. Abeli's eyes dart to Kaya, but she stares straight ahead. He clears his throat again, sweat pools in the folds beneath his chin. When I ripped the scroll, it pieced itself back together. When I burned it, it formed again from the ashes. I had my strongest guard take a mace to the sunstone, and it did not sustain a scratch. When those wretched artifacts wouldn't break, I locked them in an iron chest and staked them in the middle of the Banjoko Sea. They could never have washed up on the coast, not without Met a belly catches himself before uttering the word. I promise, Your Highness. I did what I could, but it would appear the gods have other plans. The gods? I lean in. Has Abele's mind gone to the skies? Gods don't exist. Everyone in the palace knows that. Okay, that confirms a thought I had. She kept saying this like skies, oh my skies, which I assume was because she doesn't believe in the gods like the diviners and their families do. That answers my question. I wait for father to react to Abele's foolishness, but his face remains even. He rises from his throne, calm and calculating. Then, quick as a viper, he strikes, grabbing Abele by the throat. Tell me, Admiral. He raises Abele's body into the air and squeezes. Whose plans do you fear more? The gods or mine? I flinch, turning away as Abele chokes for air. This is the side of my father I hate. The side I tried so hard not to see. I promise, Abele wheezes. I will fix it, I promise. Father drops him like a rotten piece of fruit. Abele gasps and massages his neck, bruises already darkening his copper skin. Father turns back to the scroll in Kaya's hand. Show me, he commands. Kaya gives a signal, motioning to someone outside my line of sight. Boots clink against the tile floor. That's when I see her. Binta. I clutch my chest as she's dragged forward, tears gathering in her wide silver eyes. The bonnet she takes so much care to tie every day sits askew, revealing locks of her long white hair. Someone has gagged her with a scarf, making it impossible for her to shout. But if she could, who would help her? She's already in the guard's grasps. Do something, I order myself. Now. But I cannot bring my legs to move. I cannot even feel my hands. Kaya unrolls the scroll and walks forward slowly, as if approaching a wild animal. Not the sweet girl who has wiped my tears for so many years. The servant who saves all her palace rations so her family can enjoy one good meal. Raise her arm. Binta shakes her head as the guards yank up her wrist, her muffled cries breaking through the scarf. Though Binta resists, Kaya pushes the scroll into her grip. Light explodes from Benta's hand. It coats the throne in its magnificence. Brilliant golds, shining purples, sparkling blues. The light arcs and shimmers as it cascades, a never-ending stream erupting from Benta's palm. Skies, I gasped, terror at war with awe bubbling inside my chest. Magic. Here. After all these years. Father's old warnings of magic bloom inside my head. Tales of battle and fire, darkness and disease. Magic is the source of all evil, he would hiss. It will tear Orishi apart. Father always taught Inan and me that magic meant our deaths, a dangerous weapon threatening the existence of Orisha. As long as it existed, our kingdom would always be at war. In the darkest days following the raid, magic took hold inside my imagination, a monster without a face. But in Binta's hands, magic is mesmerizing, a wonder like no other, the joy of the summer sun melting into twilight, the very essence and breath of life. Father strikes fast, quick like lightning. One moment, Binta stands. In the next, Father's sword plunges through her chest. No! I clasp my hand to my mouth before I can scream, nearly falling into my back. Nausea rises to my throat. Hot tears sting my eyes. This isn't happening. The world starts to spin. This isn't real. Binta is safe. She's waiting with a loaf of sweetbread in your room. But my desperate thoughts do not change the truth. They do not bring her back from the dead. Scarlet steps through the scarf binding. Scarlet seeps through the scarf binding Binta's mouth. Crimson flowers stain her light blue dress. I choke back another scream as her corpse thuds to the ground, heavy like lead. Blood pools around Binta's innocent face, dyeing her white locks red. Its copper smell wafts through the crack in the door. I stifle a gag. Father yanks off Binta's apron and uses it to clean his sword, completely at ease. He doesn't care that her blood stains his royal robes. He doesn't see that her blood stains my own hands. I scramble backward onto my feet, tripping over the hem of my dress. I rush up the stairwell at the corner of the main hall, my legs shaking with every step. My vision blurs as I fight to make it to my quarters, but it's all I can do to rush over a vase. I grab onto the ceramic rim. Everything inside me comes back up. The bile stings something fierce, bitter with acid and tea. The first sob breaks free as my body collapses. I clutch my chest. If Binta were here, she would be the one to come to my rescue. She would take my hand and guide me to my quarters, sit me on my bed, and wipe my tears. She would take all the shattered pieces of my heart and find a way to make them whole again. I choke back another sob and cover my mouth, salty tears leaking through my fingers. The stench of blood fills my nose. The memory of Father's blade stabs again. The throne room doors slam open. I jump to my feet, fearing it's Father. Instead, one of the guards who restrained Binta leaves. The scroll sits in his hands. I stare at the weathered parchment as he climbs the stairs toward me, recalling how just one touch made the world explode with light. Light trapped inside my dear friend's soul, unbelievably beautiful, eternally bold. I turn away as the soldier nears, hiding my tear-stained face. Forgive me, I'm unwell, I murmur. I must have eaten some rotten fruit. The guard barely nods, distracted as he continues ascending. He grips the scroll so hard his knuckles darken, as if afraid of what the magical compartment will do if he doesn't. I watch as he walks to the third floor and pushes a painted black door open. Suddenly, I realize where he's headed. Commander Kaya's quarters. Seconds ache by as I watch the door, waiting, though I do not know why. Waiting will not bring Binta back. It shall not allow me to enjoy her melodic laugh. But still I wait, freezing when the door reopens. I turn back to the vase and retch once more, not stopping until the guard passes me again. His metal-soled boots clink as he heads back down to the throne room. The scroll is no longer in his grip. With shaking hands, I wipe my tears, no doubt smearing the paints and powders Mother forced into my face. I run my palm over my mouth, taking any remnants of vomit away. Questions fill my mind as I rise and approach Kaya's door. I should continue to my quarters. Yet I step inside. The door shuts behind me with a loud thud, and I jump, wary that someone will seek out the source of the sound. I have never set foot in Commander Kaya's quarters. I don't even think the servants are allowed in here. My eyes comb the burgundy walls, so different from the lavender paint that covers my own. A royal cloak lies at the foot of Kaya's bed. Father's cloak. He must have left it behind. On another day, the realization that father was in Kaya's quarters would make my throat tight, but I can barely feel anything now. The discovery of father's cloak pales in comparison to the scroll sitting on Kaya's desk. I step toward it, legs throbbing, as if approaching the edge of a cliff. I expect to feel some aura in the scroll's presence, yet the air surrounding it remains dead. I reach out but pause, swallowing the fear that begins to swell. I see the light that exploded from Binta's hands, the sword that pierced through her chest. I push myself, reaching out again with the very ends of my fingertips. When they brush the scroll, I close my eyes. No magic comes forth. The breath I did not realize I was holding rushes out as I pick up the wrinkled parchment. I unroll the scroll and trace the strange symbols, tracing in vain to make sense of them. The symbols look like nothing I have ever seen, no language ever covered in my studies. Yet, they are symbols that Maji died for. Symbols that might as well be written in Binta's blood. A breeze flutters from the open window, stirring the locks of hair that have fallen out from my loosened geli. Underneath the flowing curtains, Kaya's military supplies sit. Sharpened swords, pantherneer reins, brass chest plates. My eyes settle on the spools of rope. I knock my galley to the floor. Without thinking, I grab father's cloak. We're gonna stop right there, y'all. I'm very excited to get this different perspective from inside the palace. I did not think we were gonna get that, but it's very obvious too that this princess will be joining the fight. She has a motive. Her best friend was a diviner. She has now seen the beauty of magic herself. She's inevitably going to be joining Zéli's side during her fight against the king. But we'll have to see how that goes. So until then, I will see you next time. Peace.